I want to start off this video with giving a huge thank you to all of my viewers. This is my first car review of 2022, and I'm going with a completely retro theme for the channel, and I figured what better car to start off that retro year than this, the 300zx Turbo. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1986 Nissan 300zx Turbo. Up front is a 3.0 liter turbocharged V6. Down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Z31 for a couple of reasons. Mainly the gauge cluster, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, but also because I love Z31s and it's always fun to be behind the wheel of another one. This year, 2022, instead of doing a long ad read, I will just ask you to please visit my website. There's going to be some merch going available and other things you'll want to keep track of, so if you want to help support the channel, please go check that out. But let's get back to that 3.0 liter turbocharged V6. It is the VG30 ET, meaning it's a 3.0 liter V6 making 200 horsepower. It has electronic fuel injection and it is turbocharged. Now 200 horsepower isn't a whole lot, arguably. However, you get a lot more torque than what you would get with like an SR engine, at least from the factory base for base. Now, the one downside to this engine is the fact that it is still a single overhead cam, as opposed to the next generation actually got dual overhead cams in the Z32, of which I also have a review on that car, so please go check that out. But this is the single overhead cam VG30, and they're fine. I like these engines somewhat, but they're also not my favorite. Like I said, paired to a 5-speed manual transmission, shifts nice and light, feels good. I'm pleasantly enjoying the shifting feel, which is great. Last but not least, of course, the Turbo 300zx is rear-wheel drive, and let's get a nice little clip for you here. It's fun. It's very fun. But now we have to talk about the interior. And to do so, I think we should pull it into the garage. This is why I wanted to drive this Z31. This is the best gauge cluster I've ever seen in a car, ever. There is no competition. It's space agey, it's digital, it's fun, it's different, and oh, is it oh so 80s. There is no denying this is the best gauge cluster ever fitted to a vehicle. Case closed. Now, something else that's super 80s that the 300zx Turbo does is that it'll actually talk to you. So, turn the headlights on, but the car's off. You don't want to drain the battery.
Lights are on. Lights are on.
It actually talks to you.
Lights are on. Lights are on.
But moving on, off to the left I do have a switch for my headlight switches, hazard switch, and cruise control, and on the right I have my rear defroster, fog lights, and rear wiper. In terms of steering wheel, this actually has an aftermarket NRG steering wheel. I'm not a big fan of it, but I can't really hate on it too much because it's not the factory one. Off to the left I just have a vent, and on the door I just have power windows, which are in line with one another, and then the latch to get in and out. This is where you really start to notice that this interior is actually very, very blue. Moving into the center, I have an acceleration meter as well as a compass. So here's what they look like during the day, but here's what they look like at night. Again, two gauges I'll never be able to forget. Down below that, I have some climate controls. Again, digital green, love them. Here they are in the day, and here they are at night. Now, I do have a spot where a radio would go, but this has since had the radio removed. And then I have a little ashtray and a 12-volt outlet. I do get a nice 300zx badge down at the bottom, and then we have the shifter. Like I said, the shifter feels great, really nice and easy throw. And of course, that is an aftermarket shift knob on it. And then I have a little ashtray, my mirror controls, very, very 80s how they're labeled. And then I have my headlight washers, very interesting, mirror defrost, and my suspension settings. So I get 3 different modes of suspension here in the Turbo Z31 for soft, neutral, and firm. Kind of fun 80s gadgets there. Then I get a little center console. And since it doesn't have any cup holders, this Z31 Turbo fails the big freaking bottle test for the first official fail of 2022. The seats are very comfortable, they are leather, and they have this nice turbo crest up at the top. I really, really like that. Definitely super comfortable. Now, there are no back seats here in the Z31 Turbo. However, you could get a 2+2 300zx that did have back seats. However, it actually had a longer roof line. Sort of interesting there. So if you see a Z31 with a slightly longer roofline, that is because it actually has back seats. But speaking of that, we don't have any back seats, so let's take a quick look at the hatch, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so coming around the back of the Z31, and of course we do have the radio and things like that that needs to get worked on, but we have these nice soft sort of speaker covers, which is interesting. Plenty of space back here. This is an 80s hatchback. 80s hatchbacks from Japan knew what they were doing in terms of space. The 80s Supra is like that. The 80s RX-7 is like that. So plenty of space back here to fit all of your goodies. I love the look of the Z31. Always have, always will. I think it's a really, really stellar looking car. So 80s, not only with that instrument cluster, but the outside is so 80s with the pop-up headlights, the sort of salad shooter type wheels. All of it together is just superb. And let's talk about the T-tops. This does come with T-tops. They are glass and they are removable, which really offers a open air, open driving experience in the Z31. Something you don't really see much of anymore is T-tops or target tops or really anything of that sort. But it is included here in the Z31s. Just pray to God that they don't leak. But now let's get to my final thoughts here on this Z31, this Turbo Z31. Well, I love it. I think this offers a lot more of a raw experience than the Z32. The Z32 is a very comfortable cruiser. When I drove that car, not only did I fall in love with it, but in the back of my head, I was like, man, this would be fun to take out to dinner, to see friends, go get some ice cream, things like that, and you'd have a fun driving experience on the way to and from. But driving the Z31 Turbo, this is a lot more of a raw experience. This is in your face. This slaps you on the back of your neck, and I love that. I like it when cars have a raw, brutal feeling. There are cars that are meant to be comfy, and I enjoy those equally. Okay, maybe not equally. Sometimes I like a good kick in the chest, and that's what the Z31 Turbo offers. Is it the fastest thing in the world? No. Are you going to blow modern cars out of the water? No. But for its time, I think this is really a perfect amount of power for back road cruising, through the twisties, spirited driving, things like that. You're not going to get yourself into too much trouble in a car like this. And God, is it just so 80s. I can't think of a better car to ring in the retro era of shooting cars reviews than this car right here. It's spectacular, and I just can't get over it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for checking out my first review of 2022, and I look forward to filming much, much more.